What I've noticed over the past few years is that presbyopic patients are now coming in much earlier than they used to. We're seeing more people in their 40s and early 50s who are very active, working professionals, golfers, tennis players, who spend hours on digital devices. If I think back just 4, maybe 5 years, patients were a lot more conservative back then. They would accept reading glasses or any sort of compromise. What's changed is that patients today are looking for solutions that feel integrated into their lifestyle. They're not asking, can you fix my vision? They're asking, can you customize it to the way I want? One of the strengths of the PresbyMAX module is truly its precision and flexibility. But on the other hand, it is so easy to use. It is as intuitive to a previous Amaris user as an iPhone. You can reduce controlled dosage of negative spherical aberration in a very predictable way. You can fine-tune how much more and micro anisometropy to apply. The planning feels more exact because it integrates corneal data, aberrometry, and even allows you to personalize the near addition for each patient. Now, the Amaris platform is something I trust because of its engineering. It's got advanced cyclotorsion control, 7D eye tracking, energy optimization. When you're dealing with presbyopic ablation zones, that precision matters. What I really like is how adaptable it is. If I want to adjust the near addition or set a different monovision offset, it just seamlessly goes. If I were advising a colleague who's used the Amaris for years but hasn't yet tried PresbyMAX, I'd say, there is no secret. Just follow the SCHWIND protocol and you cannot go wrong. Decrease or increase the amount of ad according to the patient's spherical equivalent as outlined in the SCHWIND manual. We'll always aim for the biggest optical zone and total ablation zone as you can. Begin with a straightforward case. Maybe a low hyperope or an early presbyope with healthy eyes and no ocular comorbidities. The key is to start it safe, build experience, then expand. Now, of the three, my favorite is no secret, it's monocular PresbyMAX. However, each of the three protocols has its sweet spot. If someone is very distance demanding, a pilot or a golf pro, for example, then monocular PresbyMAX works beautifully, because you give one eye sharp and crisp distance and a controlled amount of near in the other eye. If the patient is highly sensitive to binocular imbalance or causes binocular blur, hybrid is a good choice because it balances near and intermediate while preserving strong summation. In post-LVC corneas, there are two main things you really need to consider. The corneal high-order aberrations that have previously been induced by the prior LVC, and of course, you have to be respectful of the tissue now, because tissue is now at a premium in these eyes. That's why I like using total corneal wavefront guided trans-PLK planned with the OLK cam with data from the MS39. A trans-PLK procedure, no flap, no additional biomechanical compromise. When you combine that with total corneal wavefront monocular PresbyMAX, you're not only addressing or adding the controlled induction of spherical aberration to give functional near vision, but you are also treating the toxic amounts of corneal coma and positive spherical aberration left behind by the previous tiny decentrations of small optical zones, especially integrating the planning with foresight. Now there is the compass and the navigation, the holy grail of therapeutic laser vision correction. It is safe, tissue sparing, and it works beautifully in these eyes that have already had prior surgery. CLEC induces almost hardly any dry eye compared to LASIK. We are preparing a publication, Control Lateral Eye, Dominant Eye CLECs, Non-Dominant Eye PresbyMAX LASIK. In this subgroup, we found a lot more dry eye in the near eye that had the flap. We use the ATOS to do the clecs and make the flap that is seamlessly integrated into the procedures. I've actually used the protocol on my wife and now more recently on Dr. Kishore. Now, technically, the procedure is the same, but the planning was different because of their different conditions. My wife has had LASIK 27 years ago and had a moderate amount of inferior decentration with coma and a moderately small optical zone, as well as a small amount of regression or myopic progression, which we could never know. Now, I had to treat the corneal coma and positive spherical aberration culminating from that previous surgery, as well as the 1 diopter of myopia, and at the same time, induce the right amount of negative spherical aberration in the near eye. Dr. Kishore, on the other hand, was more straightforward. He had a virgin cornea, a low hyperope. He has had great vision near and far due to the huge amounts of accommodation these eyes usually have. But now, with the sudden onset of presbyopia, his functioning near vision was so diminished, he couldn't function properly. His cornea had higher than normal positive spherical aberration, and a corneal wavefront guided ablation was actually less than the wavefront optimized one, the aberration-free one. In this regard, I could induce less negative spherical aberration by reducing the ad, and at the same time, ever so slightly increase the microanisometropia. The principle is the same, but the personalization, that's what makes the difference. And that's the beauty of this approach. It's adaptable to every single eye.